Hello YouTubers, Joe Kersey here on Wednesday, July 16th, 2014 at just about 1400 in the afternoon Eastern Daylight Time. Now, those of you who have been watching me fairly regularly know that I've been having a bit of an emotional crisis. Well, crisis isn't the right word. Emotional dilemma, puzzlement. That has been actually alleviated and then aided and then now not aided by an encounter with, very pleasant fella. Let's put it that way. Who has been very problematic in terms of staying in contact and so forth. But from time to time gets back in contact. And I got a thing today. I won't tell you his name. Obviously, I'm not going to tell you his name. This fellow says, in all honesty, I really don't want to talk anymore. I have good reason, but I really don't think it would be helpful at all to explain it. Okay. And then while I was typing a response, he said, I do think you should try going out like to a bar and meeting some people. It would be good for you. Okay. Meanwhile, I was typing the following response. Obviously, I'm profoundly saddened, but there it is. Go with God. I wish nothing but the best for you. I do hope you find what you're looking for. And then it said, an explanation, if it wouldn't help you, is clearly not needed. It would, however, help me, since I do intend to keep trying to do this with other people and have no intention of spending the rest of my life in isolation. So if you have any suggestion about how to change my appeal or lack of to folks, I'd greatly like to hear it. It doesn't matter how harsh they might sound. I did try the bar thing about 20 years back. It didn't work. And then after a while, let's see, how long did that take for him to reply? Well, not too much. He says, I'm negative. He's got this thing about being positive and negative. I don't quite get that terminology about positive and negative, but try to fly with it a bit. I've heard you refer to colleagues as lowlives, and then I guess I mentioned feminist harpies in the context of having my fetus son killed, where the feminist harpies were trying to convince my now ex-wife to kill Thomas in utero. Yeah, I'll call them feminist harpies. Yeah. They were. They are. And he does make a good point. Even though there are people out there that don't do the greatest things, they still have a story and a reason behind their behavior. And he's absolutely correct about that. I don't think it's fair to make judgments about a person or a group of people without knowing the reason behind their character and action. Well, and he's correct. But see, he's saying judgment. But see, I think what he's doing is he's taking the word, making a statement a descriptive statement about somebody as a judgment. See, I make a lot of descriptive statements about a lot of things, but they're not necessarily judgments. I might color them in a certain tone of voice, that might let you know my preliminary thoughts, but it's not a judgment. It's just tossing it out there for discussion. Which, you have discussion, don't you? Well, he doesn't like to be around people who have a lot of disdain for each other. Okay. Well, I don't have disdain for a lot of people. I might sound like I do, but I don't. And then he says he felt pulled down in his interactions with me. Yeah. All right. Excuse me, I don't quite understand that terminology, but I'll fly with it. And we were very different. We don't share the interests, same interests. That's true. He points out I'm very clingy. Well, I admit that. I am. I didn't realize I was, but I am. And then basically says, clean out your house and dress more nicely. So then I replied, the only thing I might disagree with is the description of my descriptive remarks as being pejorative or condemnatory of other folks. I imagine a lot of the feminist harpies would agree that they are proud of the fact that they are thus characterized. I think where you heard disdain, I was only meaning to describe how the world worked. With irony and sarcasm, parenthesis, an underappreciated rhetorical form nowadays, and this is not meant to be patronizing, among folks your age. This guy's 20. And clearly very off-putting for you. By the way, I did take the first women's study course offered at The Ohio State University in 1971, Women in History, taught by Mary Young and Helen Wineland. So there. I'm not a curmudgeon, am I? I might sound like one, but I'm not. I'm probably more on the side of the people that, don't have a piss ant's hope in hell in this world than anybody knows. I may not sound like it, but I am. One of the persons who taught me the most about myself was a con man that bilked me out of well over $30,000. I'll have to tell you that story. Well, I've got it ready to load up on the YouTube, but I'm not going to put it up there today. Well over $30,000, and yet I bear him no ill will. Indeed, he called me from his deathbed to say he was glad he had known me. He had nothing more to gain there when he made that call. And then I'll quote from his previous response. Where you feel disdain, I try to find. Where you feel disdain, I try to find a reason to love a person or situation for what they've taught me, regardless of what it put me through. Unquote. And then I said I could not agree with that statement more. So many folks have marched through my life and taught me all sorts of things. And without knowing each other's complete backstories, it would be impossible not to have these disagreements of tone, and it's just tone, not substance, offend you. I was addressing him. Of course, I was addressing you guys as well. You're right, we don't share the same interests, but you're very You're clearly very intelligent. You're right, I am clingy, but I don't do the female-type mind games. I don't do the female-type mind games. I'm trying to be straight up and honest like a guy. I'm insistent because that is what has helped me succeed in other areas of my life in the past. I can't emphasize that more. I am insistent because that is what has helped me succeed in other areas of my life in the past. Perhaps not this one right now. The house and how I dress isn't going to change. And I try to clean the place, I go into Wheeze City. And I like the way I dress. It's comfortable. Fuck it. I'm very grateful for your remarks. Many thanks. I guess, this is great. I guess the date for the Farm Science Review is right off the books now. I was kind of looking forward to that. I may have to advertise for that. I'm going to really miss this. I'm sure glad I met you. Well, and after I wrote this, then I had to go have a little cry on the deck. But I guess that's just me being, I don't know, it wouldn't be clingy, would it? I guess it wouldn't be me being a chick necessarily. But there it is. So, as we say when we read in church, here endeth the lesson. So, bye-bye, YouTubers, and thanks for putting up with all this stuff. All right, bye-bye now.